we want to talk about one of the very important aspects of our lives. We said Nuggets Naija is not all about coming to talk. We're talking about our health, we're talking about wealth, we're talking about productivity and how to become better every day of our lives. And so today I'm bringing the next speaker as we discuss one of the most important assets of our lives, the number one asset of our life. And as we discuss, I want to bring in our next speaker. She's the CEO and lead consultant at the Christie's Ruby Spa Beauty and Wellness Place. She is an entrepreneur wearing many caps. She's an enthusiast and forward-looking Montessorian who launched passionately into the business of spa, beauty, and wellness after over 25 years in cognate banking, service delivery, and wealth management. She is a certified nutritionist and a wellness coach. She's also a certified counselor, relationship coach, and a self-care advocate. Her love for humanity and her quest to give back inspired her to recently start a group activity named Graceful Living. This is a girl empowerment business coaching where young girls from deprived backgrounds are groomed to adopt the right perspectives to life. They are encouraged and educated through skill acquisition programs and placements in appropriate organizations after graduation is facilitated. Currently, she is a naturopath and is licensed by the Lagos State government to practice contemporary medicine. She owns and runs a spa, beauty, and wellness place in 3 locations within Lagos State, where she offers holistic and therapeutic beauty regimes with an emphasis on healthy living and wellness from within. She has been married for 28 years. Wow. And the union is blessed with 3 adorable children. Please let's welcome this wonderful personality, Mrs. Grace Yomi-Balogun. Are we not clapping? 28 years in marriage. I'll pick that one first though. Welcome, ma.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, once again. Like she said, my name is Grace Yomi-Balogun. My surname is Yomi-Balogun, and my first name is Grace. So I am here today to talk to you about yourself, about myself, and all that. Before I go on, I want to thank Coach Aneken for how far he has helped me. I actually came in contact with him during the COVID period, when the COVID was thick and nobody knew where we were going. I just came across this broadcast in one of the chat rooms, and I decided to get in touch with him. And I am standing here today to say I am grateful for the fact that I took that decision, because he has helped me in so many ways, encouraged me in so many ways. And there's no way I can tell my story or write my history without him. Thank you very much, Coach Aneken. I am very grateful, and you know it. So having said that, I also want to appreciate you for giving me an opportunity to come to speak to us here today. So what are we talking about today? We're saying prioritize yourself. Now I'm going to use this interchangeably with self-care. What I am talking about is self-care, really. But when you say self-care, some people will say, oh, we heard about that once before. Okay, thank you. We have heard about this before. So what is self-care? I know what self-care is. Self-care is knowing what to do and doing it at the right time. I know when to sleep. I know when to eat. I know when to go for exercise. I know when to do everything that I want to do. But today we look at self-care differently. Not just self-care alone as regards your physical being, but we have a holistic approach to it now, which takes care of other aspects of your life. So we'll talk about self-care, we'll talk about the benefits, the types, and we give you simple aids that can help you with self-care. So introducing self-care. We say self-care is anything that you do to take care of yourself so you can stay physically, mentally, and emotionally well. All right. So self-care is anything you either do or you stop doing or you start doing, however you look at it, to take care of yourself. And it is a conscious act. The person involved, the person that is carrying out this self-care regime must be actively involved. I mean, it's not something you go to your pastor and say, Pastor, please pray for me. These are my issues. I need prayers, please. You know, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a situation where you know exactly what the issues are and you're willing to be part of the solution, however it is. So it is the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's health, and the individual must play active roles in regards, especially during periods of stress. So these activities would always help you, especially in the times of stress. So we have taken steps. When you have taken steps to care for your mind and body, you'll be better equipped to live your best life. But people say, why must I go through this process? I don't have to sit down. You know, coach taught us how to write. You must write down your goals. You must do this. You must cross that out and all that and write fresh ones. People don't want to go through processes at all. They want Indomie activities. You know, Indomie, just 3 minutes. My Indomie is ready and food is ready. Nobody wants to go through the process of doing things the right way. So we're saying that because people feel that self-care is a Herculean task, they abandon it. Some of them say it's expensive. Some of them say they don't have time. Some of them mostly do not have a good understanding of what we are talking about. So they abandon this process. So we're saying that when you learn how to take care of yourself in all ramifications, you are practicing self-care and you're prioritizing yourself. Now, let me direct my talk to women for a moment. I love women so dearly, but I'm not a woman advocate and I don't fight for any independence because I don't see myself as being in bondage, but I love women. So, you know, women, God created us to care, especially for people, you know. So you find out that when you start this caring, you don't remember yourself most of the times, especially married women. You see them running up and down, trying to take care of husbands, trying to take care of children, making sure everybody's fine. Meanwhile, they are not fine, and they hardly stop to take care of them. By the time we're done today, I want to encourage us women in particular. We need to learn how to take care of ourselves. We need to learn how to unwind. We need to learn how to spoil ourselves. I mean, you have to be well to be able to take care of somebody else. So that's where we're going today. Also, I want to touch the fact that if you look at the things happening all around us now, you find out that you see somebody today and you don't see the person tomorrow. And then you begin to ask questions and they will say, no, nothing happened to him. Oh, he just slept and he did not wake up. Self-care is part of it. God did not create us to sleep and just pass on like that, except we have gone very far in our age. Whoever sleeps and does not wake up and is not up to, like, God gave an age, which is 70, and he just goes like that from there. Check that person out. Something's been wrong with the person. It's either the person did not know or the person knew and was taking care of it and probably the thing went out of hand. So it's important that we know how to take care of ourselves and very well. So I was talking about the other aspects of self-care, which has brought in the holistic aspect. The other aspect that everybody knew about before was the physical one, where you do things that you are supposed to do, that you know how to do physically. But the holistic approach takes care of beyond physical well-being. What's your mental state of health? What's your emotional state of health? That is what we'll look into and holistically this afternoon. What has gone wrong? Okay, like I said, self-care is anything you do to take care of yourself. So types of self-care, there are quite a number of them. You have the social, the psychological, the spiritual, the mental, the physical, and a whole lot of them. But we're going to look at just 3 of them today: the mental care, the emotional care, and then the physical care. So what is mental self-care? Mental self-care is all about taking care of your brain health and psychological well-being. Stress, anxiety, and depression. You know how it is in this country right now. Nobody is in control of anything. You just see things happen and you're forced to react. And firstly, it starts off as stress. Then it graduates to anxiety, and then it moves on to depression. I tell you sincerely, if you understand what I'm going to explain to you today, there is no singular activity under the sun that is stress. It is you that will call it the name stress before it becomes stress. So it is the manner in which you decide to react to a situation that will either make it a stressful situation or a situation that is under your control. I'm a Christian, and I know a whole lot about the Bible and what our rights are, and the way God has configured us. So I understand the fact that things can go wrong occasionally. So fine, when it goes wrong, how do I react? Do I look at it as a terrible situation and allow it to bring me down? Or do I look at it as a one-off thing that has happened and I don't have control of, and I just address it the way I can and then I move on in life? So we need to begin to understand that there is a whole lot in our hands. There's a whole lot we can do. There's a whole lot that is in our hands to make us live better lives. So with mental health care, self-care, you're able to do quite a lot of things for yourself. Choose the way you decide to react to situations. Things will go wrong. Even the Bible does not guarantee that things will not go wrong. What the Bible guarantees is the grace to see you through. So occasionally, things will go wrong. So you think about how to manage it, whether to this way or to that way. So what happens next? Okay, so for your mental self-care, I want to advise that you don't have control over what would happen. When they happen, take care of them in the manner in which you can. That which is beyond you should go to somebody else who is capable of handling it. If you know the person physically, go to the person, no pride. And then if you don't know the person, there is a supreme being who is capable of taking or Muslim. So I want to encourage us this afternoon. That one way would help us take care of certain situations. Then mental self-care also has to do with what you do. Do you take time to learn new things? Do you keep your brain active, or you sit at internet all day doing Instagram? Some people know what is happening in every celebrity's life, and they are not learning anything. And you see them, like I have young adults as children, and we have rules in the house. Once I start talking to you, you can't be pressing your phone. Yes, is I want you to be looking at me so that I'm sure you're hearing me and you're understanding me. A whole lot of things have gone so wrong that the time that we're supposed to spend taking care of things that we can learn, keeping our brains busy, getting creative and all that, we spend all of it on social media. I don't know what happens here. So let me go ahead though. Emotional self-care. Emotional self-care is a bit related to mental self-care too, but it's about taking care of everything that is needed to freely express, feel, and become aware of one's emotions. Maintaining emotional well-being and taking time to heal. Now, what this means is this. We are human beings and we are created to feel. We're supposed to feel things that happens to us, things that happen to other people, and especially because we want to belong, we want to be loved, we want to be accepted. We keep repressing feelings, things that, is killing you. You don't want to talk about it because you don't want anybody to know. You don't want them to think that you are the one that has the shame. See, it's better for you to talk about your shame. Have somebody that you trust, maybe like an accountability partner. Don't put everything upon yourself, thinking that you get well. They say that emotions are energy in motion. So once they get into you, they have to go through their circle to get out of you. But when they get into you and you trap them there unconsciously because you don't want people to know, you hide painful feelings, you hide painful incidences inside of you. They remain there for a very long time. And before you know what is happening, because you have hidden them, they remain hidden. And they remain hidden to the point that even you, they hide from you too. So you do not know what is worrying you. You will get sick. You will go to the hospital. They will run all the tests under the sun and they will say there's nothing wrong with you. But that thing that you have hidden in you has become stuck energy and it's going to stay there. And it will bother you until you decide to do something about it. I did quite a lot about the science of well-being. If you have a good understanding of what I'm talking about, you'll not allow anything that bothers you remain in you. You should let it out because as long as it's in you, it is an emotion, is in motion. It will look for where to hide. It will hide in your organ and your organs will begin to have issues and the doctors can't see it, but you know that there is a problem. The moment you decide to talk about it and something is done about it, you become better for it. So emotional self-care is also about becoming more in tune with your emotions. Do you know exactly what your emotions are? How do you react to situations? Are you one of those people that will say, let it happen first, then I'll know what to do about it? Or are you somebody that is really in control of your situation? I tell people, most of the times when I do things that seemingly seems unnice, there is no mistake about it. It's what I planned to do. So you can hardly find me coming to say, oh, I'm sorry, because I have so structured my life in a way that I am able to control the things that I do. So you will never find me saying a thing like, oh, you caused it, you made me do this. You did not make me do anything. So whatever I do is what I have chosen to do because I understand my emotions and I know how to react per time. How well do you understand your emotion? Do you get in the office and you have an argument with your colleague and you do like that to that person and then you go home? You have started a chapter of problems for yourself. Because you would go home, whenever that person's thought comes to your mind, your head will go, meow. And you see how the devil works. The devil knows that that is one problem for you. He begins to magnify it. The next day you get to the office, is that same person you would see first. I mean, maybe she was supposed to hold the lift before to allow you to come in, and because she too is angry with you, she leaves it and the lift goes off. Another chapter. So this person works with you. You see this person every day. There's no way you can have peace if you don't call this person to discuss the issue. Sincerely, if you find people that call people to talk about issues, if I find such people, I respect them. They are strong people. You see, when you keep hiding, you're only opening doors for problems for yourself, because that issue will linger on. It will never go away. You are not leaving that place of work. That person is there too. Your emotional state of health is in trouble. So that's what we're saying about mastering how you handle emotions and determining to express only emotions like love, kindness, and all that. What are we talking about here? How do you see issues? Are you somebody that would always react with negativity? Are you a positive-minded person? All those things have a way of making us a total well person. If you are somebody that would, like they say, when you see a cup that has water in it halfway, do you see it as a half-filled cup, or you see it as a half-empty cup? All those things have a way of affecting you. Recently, somebody was trying on a cloth, and my daughter said to me, "Mommy, watch out, oh. He's going to see something wrong with the cloth." There are some people like that. It's only what is not working well that they see. Some people will see very nice things, and the only thing their mind is able to point out is that thing that is not right about that thing. You need to shift from that level. Shift to a level of, oh, it's beautiful. That's not to say that you should be hypocritical, but when it is beautiful, say it is beautiful. But the truth of the matter is that there's nothing that is not beautiful under the sun. It depends on the eyes that is looking at it. All right. So, are you an empathetic person? Are you somebody that writes people off? Do you believe in people? You know, I have a young child, my niece, that I'm minding at the moment. Everybody beats this child because the child is very rascally. A female, she can jump from this table to that table. The way she cried to follow me this morning, I said, I can't take you there because you are going to pull off somebody's wig there. And she can actually pull off your wig. So she's somebody that everybody is quick to smack. Then my son came back, and then he began to look at this child. He said, this child is 7 years old, but she's 15 years old. She's so active. She wants to express herself. And then he began to break things down. And at the end of this day, I said, guy, give me 5. I like the way you have analyzed this child. Everybody beats her. Everybody just thinks she's from the devil. But nobody has looked at her gifts. Yesterday night, she wrote a letter to my son, a 7-year-old girl. And when I read that letter, how she said, my most favorite uncle under the sun, my uncle that believes in me, my awesome uncle. You know, if you saw all the things she wrote, you will know that this girl has much more than people can see. So how or what kind of person are you? Are you somebody that encourages people, or you're somebody that every little thing means the person is not good enough? There's nobody under the sun that's not good enough. There's nobody under the sun that is not resourceful. So we need to take our time to identify people's gifts and give them enough comfort for them to be able to express the good things in them. So emotional self-care also helps you to check in with yourself, becoming mindful of your triggers and thinking patterns. That's what we're talking about. You know, the way it flows is you begin to think. You think first, then you begin to feel what you have been thinking, and then the last part of it is your action. You begin to behave according to what you have thought about and what you have began to feel, and then you begin to act that way. So ask yourself, what do you think about? What do you brew in your head? What goes on in your mind? Are they negative things or are they positive things? What goes on in your mind? Do you see everybody as not good enough? Do you see everybody as, oh, this person can be better? Of course, all of us can be better, including you. Okay. I'll go to physical self-care. I'm taking them one after the other, then we'll go through the benefits and the simple aids and all that. Physical self-care is what everybody knows about. It's all about taking care of your body to maintain optimal physiological health and performance, maintaining proper hygiene and taking time to heal physically. What does this mean? How well do you take care of yourself physically? At least if you don't know the mental one, which is long story, and the emotional one. Do you go to sleep when you're supposed to go to sleep? How often do you brush your teeth? Do you eat at the right time? And when you eat, what do you eat? Do you eat dead food? Because some people don't even know how to cook in the first place. I come from the eastern part of the country, and I'm telling you, if you are not careful, I will collect your husband with my meals. They prepare us for that, where I come from. They prepare us. So by the time you get somebody from the east, and you are not careful, and you are like, I'm going to work, I'm coming from meeting, I have meeting and all that. Before you know it, the girls from my place will take your husband. How do you cook your food? How well do you cook your food? Even when you know what to eat, how do you cook it? You need to learn how to cook so that you don't end up eating dead food. That is important. Then when you know how to cook as well, when do you eat? Do you eat at the right times? You see, if you understand our bodies and what God has done in our body, everything has a time. There's a process and all that. Do you load your system when it has started the digestion process and you distort that, and at the end of the day in the morning you are all bloated and you are not feeling well? You need to learn some of those things because they go a long way in helping us. So I think I would need to, okay, now we talked about the mental health care, the emotional health care, and the physical health care, self-care. So we're going to look at simple aids for taking care of ourselves in these different areas. Psychological. When you talk about psychological mental self-care, it has to do with what goes on in your head. What do you think about? What do you do? Do you just sit down and whatever comes your way, you process? You don't process everything. I have a way of shutting things out of my mind. If I feel that this will not benefit me in any way, there's no time to waste on such issues. So it's important we understand that the intellectual, what do you do? What do you learn? How do you keep your brain busy? Do you just stay? You see, as long as you're alive, you have to keep learning. You have to keep your brain busy. You have to be creative, as in learn what to do with your head so that it doesn't die. The brain will die one day if you are not giving it work to do. That's what the intellectual self-care of your mental health is about. Then the brain and memory health. How do you take care of your head first? You know, when they say the people that ride the motorbikes should use helmets, they think you are punishing them. You should take care of your head because your head houses your brain. And if you don't take care of it, you know those kind of people, when they have accidents, you just see their head scatter on the roadside and you're like, is this what the brain looks like? You should take care of your brain head, and you start by taking care of your head. And the memory health, you should be able to take supplements. You should be able to take foods that would help your brain health. Foods like nuts, berries, avocado, pear, and all that goes a long way in helping you take care of your brain health. Um, okay. So, emotional self-care. What is emotional intelligence? Somebody who is said to be somebody that is emotionally intelligent. You know, there's a way our emotions run up and down, down and up. The moment you are able to have the capacity to blend what you think and what you feel and use this learning, this understanding to take decisions that would help you be in harmony with yourself first before other people, then you're said to be emotionally intelligent. I take that again. When you have the capacity to blend what you think and what you feel and use this information to take decisions that would help you be in harmony with yourself first. You know, there are some people that are not in harmony with themselves. Even them too, they are fighting themselves unconsciously. No, sincerely is the truth. You don't know it. When you wake up in the morning and you look at yourself and you say, oh, this my head is too big. Why is this my head too big? And the next thing, you begin to think of how to make your head smaller. You look at your tummy is too fat. As far as you're concerned, your backside is too fat and everything. You yourself alone, you have condemned yourself. You know, and then you begin to have issues with yourself. And you know, that's the worst thing that can happen to anybody. They say that there are three things that affect us in this world. The world is external. You know, the things that goes on in the world has a way of affecting you and restricting you or stopping you from achieving destiny. That's what happens in the world. And then they also say there's Satan, that's the devil, that is always after you, roaming up and down all through the earth, seeking you to devour. That's the second one. Then the third one is yourself. And unfortunately, that yourself is inside you and yourself. So when you yourself begins to fight yourself, then you have a long way to go. When I tell people, I met somebody this afternoon, and when I saw him quite tall, huge, and all that, I told him I was taller than him. He first looked at me. He said, "You're quite tall." I said, "Yes." And I love it so desperately. Look at my shoes. I say, "Wear high-heeled shoes." Yes, because I like my height. I love myself. Sincerely, when I look at myself, I see myself as the best thing God created. So you see, when somebody else now comes, it will be difficult for you to tell me I'm too tall, even if I'm too tall. Because I and myself, I'm in harmony with myself. And so because I'm in harmony with myself, it makes it easier for me to be in harmony with you. So if I and myself is trying to walk like this because already I feel I'm too tall, then how can I relate with you? So it's important that you are emotionally intelligent. And the only way you can do that is what you think and what you feel. How are you able to blend these two information to be able to be in harmony with yourself first and then others? Emotional wellness. What is emotional wellness? How well are you emotionally? How well? There's this story I always tell. There was once recently, earlier on in the year, I don't know how much you know about the Alakwere side of getting back into the mainland. I live on the mainland. And they kept on fixing that road forever. To the extent that when you are almost at the point where they are fixing the road, you have your heart in your mouth and anything can happen. They will actually tap your window and tell you to roll down and tell you what to give to them. It now depends on what you give to them before whatever happens. So that day, I was coming with my PA. It was in the afternoon, the hot afternoon. So we felt, oh, nothing can go wrong at this time of the day. And then we're going. Suddenly, there was a trailer in front of us, and so suddenly a group of boys just jumped into the highway. And I was like, yeah, today is today. There were about 8 or 9 of them. And thankfully, They passed my car. They passed the second car and they launched out. They began to break windows, collect stuff, and all that. My PA that was sitting by my side began to throw up. There was nothing wrong with her before. And then she started throwing up. And she was like, can I give them all the phones? I said, did they ask you for phones? These people have gone past now. They are at the back. Then I don't know what went wrong. One of the guys that they tried to put their hand into his car was able to roll up midway, and the guy's hand was stuck in the car, and he started dragging the car, the guy and the car and all that. My PA was throwing up as if she was the one they were dragging. So somehow we were able to meander and get out of it, though they bashed our car too because everybody was running for their life. And then by the time we went a few meters ahead, she stopped throwing up. And I said, what happened to you? She said she doesn't know. Anytime there's wala, that's how she reacts. How did she get to that point? Now, if you ask me, was I afraid or not? Of course I was afraid. And in my head, in 1 minute, 1 second, one split second, I had said, what's the worst thing that can happen? They will tell me to get out of the car and I will give them the car and go my way as long as they don't hurt me, you know? So you don't put your system in a situation whereby you have lost total control of that system. So whenever anything goes wrong, you react in a way that people begin to wonder what has gone wrong to you. I tell you sincerely, if you work at it, you have the ability to control a whole lot of things, sincerely, by God, if you understand what I'm talking about. So it is only when you have been able to master how to react to issues. And you know that way, some of my staff look at me and they're like, there's one particular one that will always tell me, Madam, I don't understand you at all. You know, she will ask me, but see what went wrong. And then you're supposed to be screaming at the top of your voice. I said, oh, by the time I scream at the top of my voice, I'll end up hurting myself the more. What has happened has happened. What's important to me is how to fix it. I don't have to bring down the roof to fix it. In fact, some of the times when you bring down the roof, you make the situations worse. So we have to. And then I also have this doctor. Whenever I go to him, he's talking in whispers. And then one day I said to him, open your mouth and talk now so I can hear you. And then he told me, he runs a hospital that seems like a health center. People are always there. He said, if I shout at the top of my voice for an average of about 600 people that I see every day, I won't be as healthy as I am. And then that was where I learned that one too. When I was much younger, I used to talk very softly, you know, up to the extent that even when I started work, I remember that when I talk, they would say louder, please. So I began to have children. Then one of my sons, you can never tell him to leave that place and he leaves the place. You must scream at the top of your voice. You will tell him gently, I'm not going to mention his name because I don't know where you add this, and then he hears it. If you tell him gently, leave that place, he doesn't even look back as in who is talking. If it's me, but if it's his father, once he hears, what are you doing there? He flies. But if it's me, leave that place for me. Until you scream at the top of your voice. So I learned how to scream at the top of my voice. But by the time I met this doctor and I saw how he handles situations, no matter how bad it is, his voice is low. I picked that too. Because we learn every day. And if you're learning from the right people, before you know it, you are a superstar in whatever you do or however you want to train yourself. So that's emotional well-being, emotional healing. See, when something goes wrong, I tell you the truth. Like I said earlier on, I studied the science of well-being. The thing has happened. There is no changing that thing. Even if you can change it, if you can do something to affect the state of that matter, you need to heal. You need to heal. And don't say because I'm also a certified counselor. See, if you need to talk to somebody, look for the right person. Talk to the person. Get the thing out of you. Once you acknowledge that something has gone wrong, that's why I like the part of the world where coach lives. Counselors earn a lot because people are always going to them. When you know that something has gone wrong with you, seek help. Seek help and heal properly. Go through the process of healing. Go through the process of being aware of the situation, doing something about the situation, and then resetting your life. That way you are better for it. If you have been hurt so badly and you need to cry, cry. Cry. Even if you have to cry in your bathroom, cry. You are letting out emotions that will remain in you if you do not do anything about it. If you need to apologize, please apologize. It doesn't take anything away from you. You know, when I see people that will say, oh, I can never say sorry, I can never, maybe it's because you have life. Apologize, move on, be happy. Life is for the living. And we have a lot of, she was talking about that earlier on, we have quite a lot of moving corpses everywhere. You see them, they are talking to themselves. Maybe it's one issue they had that they did not resolve that they are talking about. Why? Then learn to give yourself peace. Especially us married women. I love women desperately. Their husband will hurt them. Madam, you won't talk to him about it. Then you will go and stay in one corner. And your head and your heart will start magnifying what that thing is. Before you know it, you have added so much salt and pepper to the thing that is bigger than what it is. And then it's you that is suffering. If you understand it, it is you. The guy that hurts you has done what he wants to do. Maybe he doesn't even acknowledge the fact or realize the fact that he has hurt you. Call him. Talk to him about it. Some people will tell you, oh, no, you can never talk to my husband. Why? How did he get there? Take him back to Egypt. Start your journey afresh. So you would be happy for it too. We bother ourselves too much. Our husbands will keep their phone, go and carry it, and trust Lagos girl. Dear, how are you? And your head will start doing like this. And maybe the girl is just his colleague in the office. And they will tell you that it's international setting, it's an international bank. So that's how we react. That's how we relate with ourselves. Give yourself peace. Because if you don't give yourself peace, it's a matter of time. Something will take you out of that setting. And that girl that you are killing yourself about will move in nicely. And trust our culture. They will accept her. It is your chapter that has closed. We need to be careful. Recently, we were redoing our house. So they were doing the kitchen. And I'm a very finicky and particular person. So I just came downstairs and I saw the tiles. I saw that the guy had placed one wrongly, and you will hardly notice it. But because of my kind of person, I saw it. So I called my husband's attention to it, and he was like, no, you have to change this and that. I left them. By the time my husband came in about 30 minutes later, I had had my bath, and I was in bed, and he was like, oh, you mean you didn't say anything about it? That guy is not going to change that thing. And I said, that just that one tile that didn't sit well. That is why I would lose my mind, Abby. Another woman will come into that kitchen and say, fantastic, this place is beautiful. Do you understand it? And then you keep working yourself up over little things that don't matter really. Make yourselves your husband's concubines. Make yourself, sorry, coach, pardon me. You know what those girls do outside that makes your husband go to them. Go and learn it now. Go and learn it and do it. Me, she said, I've been married for 28 years. I guess that was something you used. I sent to you some time ago. In 4 months, I'll be in marriage for 30 years. And my husband is my best friend. How old am I? We courted for 7 years and we've been married for 30 years. Recently, his friend opened the bar. When he was going, he told me he was going to his friend's bar. I know the friend. I knew when they were doing all the things about the bar. And then the whole evening, I didn't call him. When he got home, he was like, no, you didn't do well. You didn't call me. You're the only wife that didn't call the husband, and blah, blah, blah. I said, but you told me where you were going now. So why was I supposed to be bothering you? Oh, if you felt so bad about it, you should have chatted me to tell me to call you so that you can feel. What I'm trying to say here is I don't bother him. And you know what he owes me? I'll be the last person to find out. And because I will never bother to find out, I will never know. And I will live peacefully. What are you worrying yourselves about? If my husband is sitting here and I'm sitting here and his phone is here, it rings, I will carry it without looking at it. I will give it to him. What do I want to see? That thing I will see that will make me lose my sleep and I will start thinning out. And that girl is getting fatter. I beg you people, if you have issues with your husband, sit down and discuss it with him. If you have allowed things to go so bad that you can't talk to him, please go back to Egypt. Start the journey all over again. It is you, whatever your husband is as a result of what you have made him become. I'm not putting all the responsibility on you, but to a large extent, if you deal well with a guy, he will deal well with you too. Yeah. So I talked about getting help, seeking a counselor. It's important, sincerely. You need somebody to talk to. You need somebody to tell your fears. You need somebody to discuss issues with. You don't just go to anybody, not just anybody. Make sure you look for a well-respected person that is living right. I remember some time ago, I was a bit younger. I was working in the bank. And then I had this older colleague who liked me so very much. And I also liked her because she was doing very well with her career. So it was during Soludo's time when they were merging banks and all that. So they paid us some huge sum of money. I'd never earned that kind of money in my life before. So I was so excited. And I just forwarded the alert to my husband. I guess he was busy. So he didn't see it at that time. So when he saw it, he now called me and said, hey, my millionaire wife and all that. And the lady was like, how did you know they paid you that kind of money? I said, I told him now. He said, but why did you tell him? So how would you have a plan B when he knows everything you're doing? You don't need a plan B. The trouble of keeping plan B is too much. By the time the guy finds out your plan B, his own will increase to B, C, D, E, F. And you will never find out. So just enjoy the life that you're living. Life is for the living. Seek a counselor. Make peace with your partner in particular so you can have peace of mind as well. 8, for physical help, knowledge. Knowledge is very key. That's why I have a problem with people that do Instagram and all that the whole day. Take your time to learn. Know certain things that are necessary for you to live right. I recall this, my young son too, at that time. I had a young son whom at age 8, they had done surgery and removed his, what do you call this thing again? Appendix. They said he had always had issues with his tummy. Every time, mommy, my tummy hurts. So I had seen virtually all the pediatricians of repute. And then we got to this one. He said, oh, it is appendix. You have to remove it. If I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have allowed them remove his appendix. But they removed it. And guess what? A few years later, we found out that the boy was just lactose intolerant. There was nothing wrong with his appendix. So it's important that we take our time to learn and know certain things that will be useful for us. Then be proactive. I said this because I relate with people a lot, and I found out that some people will go to the diagnostic centers. These diagnostic centers are not proper hospitals. And then you go and run your tests, everything, and pay all the money you need to pay. And then you collect the results and keep it at home. So what have you done? And you shouldn't have bothered to waste that money. So when you run these tests, please follow up. You know, people say that when you run tests and they don't say anything wrong and you read it, you're not a medical doctor, you're not a medical professional. You will now see the ranges, you feel it's comfortable, you are okay. You don't know what's brewing in your system. Take the results. Take them to a medical practitioner. Let them look at it. Let them tell you what the issues are. Because Oyibo people say a stitch in time saves 9. You nip it in the bud and they begin to treat you. And within a short while, you'll be fine. But when you leave it there and the following year comes, you want to fulfill all righteousness, you go again, you do a medical checkup again, you are keeping it in your wardrobe again. Whatever it is getting worse. And by the time you know it, the person sleeps and he doesn't wake up again. They'll say, oh, I saw him yesterday. It's arrows from the village. Those arrows are from you because you are the killer of yourself. Exercise moderately. Find time. Brisk walk is fine. Please start gently, nothing too strong. When you have just started, just take it a bit at a time. All you need is to keep your body, your heart working, so you don't have to kill yourself over it. So you graduate little by little. Maintain an ideal body weight. Let me look around and be sure that there's nobody that is obese here. You know, you see some people that are actually obese, and they will tell you that it's beautiful to be fat. You know, when you begin to lie to yourself, it means you're not in harmony with yourself. See, for every extra weight you have, it comes back to your heart. The ideal weight is between 18.95 and 24.95, just 25 approximately. If it begins to hit 25, please do something about your weight. The lighter you are, the better for you, right? So eat nutritiously. I've told you, you need to know how to cook, know what to eat, know how to cook, know when to eat it and all that. It's very important. Avoid dehydration. Drink a lot of water, a whole lot of water, especially during your active time. During the night, you take less water, but during the day, as much as possible, take a lot of water. Manage your stress. Nobody is in control of what happens, especially now. Anything can happen. Anything happens every time, everywhere. Find a way of understanding your body. Find a way of reacting. I went somewhere and somebody was telling me, what are you talking about? It's because you don't have issues. That's why you're talking like that. There's no single human being under the sun that does not have issues. Sincerely, if you don't have issues, then you're a dead person. So learn how to manage your stress. These things will come. Don't declare them stressors from day one. Find a way of, it's not as easy as it sounds, but it's possible. So use supplements wisely. Now I say use supplements wisely because I also know a group of people, they will come and ask you, oh, you're 50. So what do you take? You look so good. And then you say you take, is it 50 plus, they call it. And then she'll say, oh, I'm 52 and I don't take it. I should get it, you know. She goes and gets 50 plus. He sees another woman, oh, I love your skin. Your skin is so beautiful. What do you take? And the person says, oh, I take omega-3 fatty acids. Oh, really? Is that why you look so good? She gets to get it too. Before you know it, she goes around and then she has 6 different supplements she's taking every day. Please, who prescribed it for her? She prescribed it for herself. Supplements are good, but make sure that it is your doctor that is prescribing what you are taking as much as possible, sincerely. As a matter of fact, I don't take supplements. I eat right. Okay, this is statistics. It's not also, it's World Health Organization that revealed this. It says, if you work more than 55 hours per week, this is the result of it. Those that do that are associated with an estimated 35% higher risk of getting stroke. I run a wellness place, and I know how many clients that I have. And then when I look at them, there's one recently 35-year-old that has a stroke. So, I mean, if that guy is going to live for 80 years, the stroke itself has cut down his lifespan. There's no way he can get to 80, but God is in control and anything can happen. But what I'm trying to talk about here is that you can avoid quite a lot of these things. I went to a bank to speak, and they were like, the young boys there were like, tell them, because they keep them in the office endlessly. God has so structured our bodies that there's time to rest, there's time to be active. A whole lot of things happen when you're resting. A whole lot of things happen when you're sleeping. When you're sleeping is when your cells regenerate, and then you refuse to sleep. So what do you want these cells to do? There is no time. Your melanin is produced when you're sleeping, and then you will not sleep. You're supposed to be in a dark room. You say you cannot sleep in the dark. You put on the light. And then the body would always work accordingly with how it is structured to work. And your own work is to help the body to function aright. And you are refusing for the body to function aright. So what would happen to you? You would all end up eventually killing yourself, and then it's arrows from the village. So benefits of practicing self-care. One, absence of disease. When I say absence of disease, what I mean basically is that you don't have all those terminal diseases that are capable of killing you any moment. Then number two, your immunity is strong. Now, if your immunity is strong, what it does for you is that it's standing at the goalpost. Yes, what is it that is coming into this body? I am ready for you. And once that thing makes a mistake of coming, it can't get through because your immunity is so strong for it. But when your immunity is weak, ordinary kata will bring you down. Ordinary cold will, so in fact, any little thing that your immunity can fight will just turn you into a vegetable. Another benefit is ability to bounce back readily from minor illnesses, because already your body is not all in ruins. It's easier for you to bounce back when you take ill. Then ability to cope with life challenges and threats. They would come because you do not have control over them. So golden tips for staying healthy always. One, determine to practice various self-care regimes. From today, please promise yourself, whatever it is. If you're a smoker, tell yourself you want to stop smoking. Because even the people that made cigarettes have told you that smoking is not even only dangerous, you will die young. But they are still selling cigarettes and people are still buying it. Look for something else that you will take that would help you. Adopt one healthy habit today, or eliminate one unhealthy habit today and commit to doing it. Where is this my tall brother that I lost to today? Where has he gone to? He told me that he doesn't want to be taking all those soda anymore. He wants to be taking fresh juice. Commit to doing it. It's possible, and then you keep at it. Make your health and well-being a priority. You see, people will say you are selfish when it's you are well, making your own well-being a priority, but you need to be well to take care of other people. So it's important you do something about that. Develop a habit of gratitude. You know what that means? In the morning when you wake up and you want to pray, instead of telling God that everything about your life is not balanced, thank God for the fact that you even have life alone and that you slept in the night, you've woken up, because it's not everybody that sleeps every night that wakes up the next morning. Develop, even apart from God, your husband, if he does you this, I'm sorry, coach, no, my knack for women. Thank your husband for every little thing. Even if he gives it to you and it's what he's supposed to do, Thank him for paying the rent for the house. Thank him for paying school fees for the children. It's not every husband that can pay rent. Oh. I know you know what I'm talking about. And it's not every husband that can pay school fees. Make him feel important. Just be happy with him. Avoid mind pollution. People talk a lot about water pollution, but mind pollution is worse. And people never think about it. Guard what you see. Guard what dwells in your mind. Guard what you brew in your mind is very important, because that's where it starts from. The Bible makes it very clear. Out of the abundance of the heart, there's so much in the heart. Banish thoughts that you don't want in your heart. Banish them and let them go to the pit of hell. Make sure that at every point in time, it's not possible that at every point in time, but it's possible that at most points in time, you are happy with yourself. Learn to regulate your emotions. I talked about that earlier too. Learn to regulate your reactions to situations. It is very important. Avoid late night meals. I talked about putting food in your system when it has just started digestion, the digestion process. Then drink clean, purified water sufficiently during your active hours. You know, there's so much they carry around these days and they call it water. Be careful what you're drinking as water. Rest are 3 levels. When we say rest, we've even increased it now. It's no longer 3 levels, it's 4 levels. Every day, make sure you find time to rest. Every weekend, take out time to rest. Allow your body to enjoy itself. Every month end, find a way of saying, oh, I have done well for myself this month. I need to give myself a treat. Rest. And then at the end of every year, find a way of giving yourself some good rest. So to experience peace, according to Jill Taylor, does not mean that your life is always blissful. It only means that you are capable of tapping into a blissful state of mind amidst the normal chaos of a hectic life. This is where I would stop today. And words of wisdom: you are your greatest enemy. I said that before. Because you are not emotionally intelligent. The things around you, which is the world that I explained, the enemy, which is Satan, is also against you. The world is around you. The flesh, which is you, is within you. Deal with yourself. Understand yourself. Know yourself. It will help you live a more peaceful life. Thank you. Thank you.
Please, another round of applause. I've kind of noticed that when we say ask questions, people will be looking until I have to force someone. So this time around, I'm going to take the mic round. Randomly, I'm going to pick people. So, okay, someone has come to Bill. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that really, really enlightening talk. When you talked about health, about weight, you said that the ideal weight is between 19 and 25, but you didn't state what the unit is. I was a bit. What's the unit? BMI. Aha. Okay. So I wanted to be clear. Your height. Yeah. Okay. Yes, yeah. Because I wonder what I was torn or something, some strange units. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is any? Okay. Does anyone have question? I'm taking my mic round. I'm going to pick someone. Someone doesn't ask a question. Any question? Question? Okay, please. No, I don't need the mic. Okay. Thank you. That's good. What is
said, in line with what he said, saying that listening to her is, I think my steps were ordered of God because I needed to hear this. I couldn't have missed it anyway. Someone sent me a text yesterday. So from what she just said, the thing, it just got to me, and I wish I had invited her here. Because I'm thinking of, I was going to tell Coach Anekan to speak with her. She sends me a text last night. She says here. Good evening, Oduak. So many things going on, which I don't think I can hold on anymore. I am losing it. Losing the will to live, losing the will to continue. It's as if nothing is forthcoming. I'm getting tired by the day. I am really tired. I was listening to her talk, and it wasn't really for me, but she came to my mind, and apparently she knows Coach Anekan, but I'm not sure she knows he's in town. So when she said, when I listened to what she was saying about emotional intelligence and how to talk to people, open up to talk to people, because she's somebody like me, she's very private. And I was shocked that she could even share this with me. It just got me thinking, saying that if I had thought about it, I would have invited her here, because I know that listening to her would have brought a big change. But even in all of this, I had said to myself that after the program, I didn't want to talk to Coach Anekan before the meeting. I was saying that later at night, I'd like to speak with her because he knows her as well. So I just want to commend you, because you never know what you've just said. You've said a whole lot, and it's really huge, and I take a lot from it. Thank you so much. And to the organizers, Coach Bibi and Coach Anekan, God bless you real good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes? 2 minutes. We need to bring it. Okay.
Someone on the Zoom call says to say this to Mrs. Grace. Thank you so much, ma'am. God bless you richly. Funny enough, her name too is Grace. So we always share.
Thank you very much. Yes, somebody's raising her hand. Please, can you help me? Sorry, I'm just
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chinenye Oragu. I'm a lawyer. I want to say thank you to the speaker, Madam. It was a wonderful session. I've learned a lot, and thanks to the organizers. I wanted to add something. The power to say no is also very important to our, self-care, because a lot of times you just have this demands from people. I need money. Please come and take care of my daughter. Come and do this. And a lot of times, sometimes we can be people pleasers. We just want to, help people, want to be seen as nice people. Saying no, that power to say no is actually a muscle to be developed. And you have to use it again and again. You can't just get it overnight. I mean, I had a situation where I buried my dad. I'm just coming back. This person knew she was in my committee of friends, and she was asking me for money. I mean, and then I said, I need to settle down. And she just kept asking me, guilt tripping you. Why will you do that? If you're not so, she'll say, I can't even leave my house. I have no transport money to go to work. That is emotional blackmail. But because over time I've, built that muscle, I'm still work in progress, but it's also something we should have, because some people, when they become depressed, it's because they have given so much of themselves to people and they have nothing left. Even their resources, you cannot buy anything because you're always helping the auntie in the village, you're always doing this. So it's also something we really need to take into consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The power to say no. People are depressed most times when they have given and given and given and are tired of giving. A very strong word. I'll take you up on that later. Any other question or comment before I bring in the next speaker? Okay, so